Welcome to the Stone Table. This isn't a stage, it's a gathering place. Here, lifters of all kinds bring their stories. The heavy, the honest, and the hard-earned. Real voices, real weight. Shared like a good pour among friends. Recorded in Ontario, Canada, and open to lifters everywhere. Sláinte.
Welcome back to the Stone Table Podcast. I am your host, Rebecca Innes. This is a place where we have conversations around stone, everything related to it, and the practices that essentially didn't begin with us, but that we choose to carry forward. And today's guest is one of those people that comes to my mind that was in stone lifting and contributing to the stone community way before it became popular, before COVID, before Stoneland, before stones became an aesthetic and for likes on Instagram. Josh Beatty joins us today, and I think we'll learn from him that hits started back way before this, but one of his first stones he picked up was in 2017. Not because it was fashionable, but because it really married some interests that he was involved with, which is Highland Games, community festivals, and stones. Josh is a Highland Games athlete, as I said, a stone lifter, and he basically helps foster communities where strength and culture meet. He is a great person, I thought, to have here on the podcast to share that experience with you. So welcome, Josh, to the Stone Table. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm
Awesome.
doing good.
So as I start with every guest, what are you drinking today?
Well, as you can see, I got a couple things on the shelf, but my go-to is
Yeah.
Wild Turkey 101. I wanted something nice and easy to drink today. So, to me, it's something that's just nice and smooth. At least it is to me.
Well, I am
drinking it out of the traditional coffee cup as well.
Oh, awesome. I'm drinking Glenmorangie. And the reason,
Nice.
the reason why I picked it is, and your scotches. So this one, I find it's patient, but once you start kind of sipping it back, it then kind of like opens up and gives more of the complex flavors. And I thought it was kind of going to be like this conversation today. You've been patient as I've been setting this up with you, getting the conversations back and forth, and have kind of just let it naturally unfold. So that's why I picked Glenmorangie today.
Glenmorangie's a good choice. It's nice and
Yeah.
smooth, and you can drink on it all day long.
Well, hopefully we will not be drinking it all day long. I've limited myself to 2 beverages during this podcast. We'll see how that goes with you. But before we get to stones and a few more drinks, tell me a little bit about you. Tell the viewers a bit about yourself.
Okay. I'm pretty much just a regular person that happens to do odd things. I grew up in Galloway, Ohio, right down the street from where I actually live right now. And that's where we have one of our stones is in Galloway, Ohio, at my parents' house. Grew up in the Columbus area, went to high school at Bishop Reading, which I got a cup on the shelf over here. I don't know if you guys can see it from back when I was in high school. After I got out of high school, went to college for a little bit. College wasn't for everybody. So I joined the Marine Corps and was in from 99 to 03. After I got out, I did a couple odds and ends jobs, in the wife's terms, I played cops and robbers, and wasn't exactly lucrative to be doing that. So started applying for jobs, got on with the Franklin County Sheriff's Office back in 2005, and I have been doing that ever since.
Awesome.
I got a whole list of things I can talk about with the Highland Games and the Stones, but we'll walk into that here in a little bit. But I've always enjoyed competing. Well, not really competing. I don't care about competing. I care about doing. So I like, throwing the weights, the caber by far, it's easy enough. I mean, I have a dozen chainsaws and I cut down trees for funsies. So it just was natural to pick them up and throw them around. And then with the stones, when I came across that, I was like, well, there's a rock, let's lift it up. I mean, it's always just been about doing it. I don't really care about the competition aspect of it. It's just been, hey, there's a rock in my yard and I like to lift it up on occasion. And here we are.
Yeah, here we are. So in 2017, like doing the research on your profile, it was back in 2017 that you lifted your first stone. I think it was at your house. Tell us about that. Like, and why did you decide to lift it? Is it because you had been, did you know Sean by that point? Or like, tell me a bit about.
Yes. So 2017 actually wasn't the first stone I lifted. It was the first
Oh,
one that anybody recorded.
okay.
Like I said, I don't get on social media. I mean, I do a little bit more now, but I've been kind of pressured into maybe post a couple videos, just post things so that way with competitions I put on, people can find me and see what I've done, so that way they can reach out. But that goes see back in 2013. Me and my brother and my wife and a couple friends of ours were at the Dublin Irish Festival, and we were listening to the Red Hot Chili Peppers, sitting in the field. May or may not have had a couple beverages, and right next to us was the Highland games. They were going on. So, we're not small people. Me and my brother, we've been athletic, most of our lives, or semi-athletic. So we started watching, and we decided in 2014 we were going to be at Dublin competing in that sport. We'd never even seen it before. We heard about it, but we'd never seen it. And we made the decision that day to be at Dublin competing the next year. Dublin's not exactly like one of those, if you know anything about the sport, Dublin is something you have to apply to get into. It's not just anybody
Yes.
can. So we didn't know that we set such lofty goals. After we left that day, we went up and talked to a couple people. And after we left, I pulled up the website for them. And 2 weeks later, it was in Ohio, up by, Ashland University somewhere. And the Lexington, Ohio, the Blueberry Festival. Me and the wife drove up there, and I walked onto the field and said, "How do I do this?" And they said, "Got $10?" I said, "I sure do." So I competed that day.
Had you thrown anything? Had you thrown anything?
I
Like, had
had
you?
never even touched an
Oh,
implement at all.
oh my God, this
So
is why we
the
have
extent of
insurance. Okay.
my training for Highland games is I had done a couple kettlebell swings in the past. So the weight over bar, here we come. I can swing a kettlebell. That's about it. So I was flying blind that day. Some great people out there. Some of them are still competing. Some of them are still around. Some of them aren't, but great people welcomed me right on the field. Had a great time. I'm still friends with Brian Huntley, John Shingler, Rich McLean, great guys, started up the organization, ran it for a long time. Then, people like Nick Rosendahl and Lucas McDonald, they basically showed me how to do Highland games while I'm standing there. Like, I don't know, how do I stand? What do I do? How do I hold on to this? And they baby stepped me right on through the event. And, well, I was stuck. I had to do it again and again and again. So,
Oh my God.
needless
So,
to say, in 2014, me and my brother were on Dublin's field competing. So we kind of progressed that quickly. So that was
and do you
fun.
still do Highland games now? Like, do you still throw?
Since I've heard you say it in your videos before, I'm going to throw this out there. I'm not as young as I once was. I'm a little older myself.
Yeah.
I don't recover as quickly. I'm sore all the time. You know, I've had a bunch of surgeries over the years. My body's falling apart. So I went from putting on 9 or 10 events, competing 14, 15 times, to I'm so sore and tired and just aching that I'm down to maybe once or twice a year at this point. If I compete at all, it's once or twice, and it's going to be a backyard game down the street. I'll travel for invitationals. I did the Battle on the Border up in Hammond, New York a couple times. Gone to South Carolina, but it's generally like an invitational type deal. Where somebody's like, I know somebody that doesn't mind driving 9 hours and throwing things and driving 9 hours back. And that's me.
Yeah. Okay, so we're just going to divert here. We hadn't planned to talk about this, but I think it's really important because there is a crossover of Highland gamers in the audience as well as stone lifters. They do converge, and I think people forget that stone lifting has been part of the Highland Games for a very long time. But where I was going with this is if people want to get involved with the Highland Games and not the Stones of Strength part, but with the Highland Games part, like what would you recommend, I guess, to the American listeners? Because it's a little bit different in Canada.
Honestly, there's a lot of great people and a lot of great organizations all over the country in the U.S. Honestly, if you want to find out, message me. I will put you in contact with somebody. But get on social media. just post, I am looking at doing the Highland Games, or Google Highland Games, and they all have Facebook. They all have organizations. There's a great one here in Ohio, Sticks and Stones people. You got Shag, that's the Carolinas, the SAAAs down in Florida, the Buffalo Heavies up in New York. So, I mean, the east side of the country, I know somebody personally that I could put you in contact with. But if you want to do it, look on a website and find out what the rules are, what the weights are. Grab something similar and go out there. My first hammer that I made was a coffee can full of weights and concrete, and I put a piece of PVC in it. And I had to teach myself how to throw a hammer.
Oh my God.
Just do it. It's fun. I mean, laugh at yourself while you're doing it, because I still probably look absolutely ridiculous on some of the events. But just reach out to somebody. Don't be afraid to reach out to them, because they started somewhere too. If you're at a Renaissance festival, if you're at, any kind of, Irish or Scottish festival, and you see them, walk up and talk to them. That's how you get involved. That's how you get started, is just ask the question, and they will be more than happy to tell you all about their niche sport. Because I know I
Okay.
always am.
Well, can we then talk about a bit about the Arnold then? You were involved with the 2018, was it, for the Arnold?
2017 and on. But I think 2017 was the first year we did the indoor.
Okay, so I have never been to the Arnold. I'm in a finance job where the fiscal year end is March 31st. So it's always a horrible time for me to go down to Ohio. But can you tell me what you were involved with the Arnold Classic?
Oh, that's actually a really fun thing, and I like to make fun of my friend who got me involved in that a little bit. I had a friend of mine, Rob McKeeman. He was part of the CrossFit, the indoor CrossFit competition that they had at the Arnold for several years. His gym and his business or whatever, they were the ones that put on the indoor CrossFit. And he was doing Highland Games with me. So we were on Sundays. He was one of the guys that we just kind of got together and threw things every Sunday at 1:00. He was going to the Arnold meetings for the event coordinator meetings with the Arnold, sports festival. And I was at work, and he called me and said, "Hey, what do you think about doing the Highland Games at the Arnold?" And I said, "Well, not outside, not in March. And it gets a little cold here. I mean, we got 3 inches of snow on the ground, and it's still coming down right now. So, I mean, we carry this through in Ohio until, who knows, April, May. We don't know. Our weather's fickle." And I said, I don't want to be outside, and I don't want to be in the snow and the cold and all that stuff for 2 days. I did it years ago when they had the outdoor Arnold Highland Games, and I didn't enjoy it. I was cold for 2 days.
Yeah.
So he asked me, he's like, "What do you think about doing it?" I said, "Well, if we can do it indoors, that would be amazing." Because they have all the fairgrounds, they have all the indoor places like the equine buildings and stuff with the dirt floors. I was like, if that would be perfect. They have heaters. We could do an indoor Highland Games. I can make that work. He said, "Okay, I'll call you back." He gets off the phone. About an hour later, he calls me back and says, "What about indoor in the convention center?" I said, "Wow, I don't think that's ever been done before on concrete." So I said, "Well, give me a little bit and I'll think of something, and we can figure it out." And he said, "Okay." Got on the phone about an hour later. He said, "All right, can you figure it out?" I said, "I've got some ideas. We can figure it out." He's like, "Good. You have 6 weeks."
My God.
So I reached out to, Rogue, Merle Lawless, great Highland Games guy. He's been putting on events for, I don't know, 110 years probably by now. I reached out to everybody I knew, because in 6 weeks putting on and what we've been told and what we still believe is the first actual indoor Highland Games, and we were doing it on concrete. So we had 6 weeks to mastermind something that's never been done before, and you can't throw steel weights on concrete floors at a convention center and get away with it. So we had to figure out all new weights. We worked with Rogue to get bags made, and Merle brought wooden cabers the first year. Then he developed the indoor cabers, made out of light posts for the next year. So, I mean, it was a group effort. I mean, we really did draw from all over the country. Steve Conway and Dr. Bill started helping with coordination, especially with the pros. It was a group effort to do something that had never been done before, despite all the eventual social media issues and complaints and, everything about how it ended up. It was something that was amazing, that anybody that came out and competed at it they were on center stage. They were at the Arnold Sports Festival doing something that most people don't know about. Most people
Hmm.
have, tried or seen or heard about, and they are on center stage. They are there for everybody to look at. And we lucked out and we had the bleachers right next to us. So even when people were tired of walking around the Arnold, they came and sat in the bleachers and they were able to watch us. And I can say that we set a lot of world records there. Well, we started out with just world records, and then we started, the declaration of indoor, outdoor, and then there was a lot of, you know, discussion about it. But politics and politics.
Of course. I mean, there always is.
Absolute. But I mean, it was something that we had never done, we'd never dreamed of, and we put people out there for the sport. Rogue did a highlight video. It's on their YouTube channel. Vice Sports did one for the female athletes that were there. They did a bunch of interviews and did some action videos. So got Vice Sports and Rogue actually did a solid on putting a highlight video out on the internet for all to see. It really brought a lot of attention to our small sport. And I was proud of it. I mean, especially when Rob talked me into being the guy that had to throw the weight for distance at 8 a.m. on the news live. And
I hope I have a clip of that.
it is, I think it was Channel 6, USYX, Channel 6. It was back in, I think 2017 was the year that happened.
Good.
I mean, I'm sure you can find it on the internet somewhere. It was
Will be.
after a night of us celebrating the first day of the Arnold Indoor Highland Games. And I think we were out till 2 a.m. And then at 8 a.m. I was there and I was told I had to be the guy that threw. That wasn't fun. Wasn't pretty either.
Well, I had no idea that you were like, because this had been one of my bucket list goals until they got rid of the Masters. Well, until Highland Games was out of it entirely. But the thing is, it had been a bucket list goal for me. And I had no idea that you were one of the main organizers and reasons
No,
why
no,
it
I'm
got.
just the guy that creates equipment, brings it. Other people are the organizers.
Okay, but
Oh,
but
right,
still,
right.
right? Like it was
Well, no,
kind of a
I
big
just don't like the
thing.
notoriety of it.
Yeah.
It was a team effort. We all put in our time and effort. We all brought it together. I just happen to have a lot of equipment. So I bring my equipment, I bring my time, and I bring my energy. That's what I brought to the event. Well, the Stone started in that same year, 2014, when me and my brother ended up qualifying for Dublin for the Highland Games. The next day we were young. We were well, not young. We were new to the sport.
Right. Yeah.
So he was young. I wasn't. There's still a 12-year difference between us. That's why, I can always say that no matter what he does, do that in another decade and see if, you can hold up. But so we ended up staying over to help with the other events because we were new at it. So the right thing to do when you're new is help. Put in some time, get to know people, be there to shag weights, shag stones, help the other people that are performing. Well, the IHGF was doing the Stones of Strength at Dublin. And, I went out there and I ended up having the privilege of shagging every 50-pound stone throw for an entire day. And I got my workout in. We didn't have a dolly. So I had to keep picking it up and carrying it back, pick it up, carry it back. Oh, it was amazing. But that's where I, saw the Stones, honestly, for the first time. I've watched strongman for years, decades. The Saturday morning Wide World of Sports. I've watched as many World's Strongest Man or Strongman competitions as I'd put my numbers up there against anybody on how much I've actually watched.
Right.
So to see it firsthand was awesome. So then I helped with loading the stones and, putting the stones away, getting them where they need to go. And then the next year it was, well, a couple things were dumped in my lap, but it came down to on a Friday, we need somebody to get the stones because there's no way to get them to the field. So now I became in charge of stones as well. So, because I have a truck, I have a trailer, I'm willing to put in the time. I had to coordinate with a couple people. I'll tell you what, that year is the year that I met Steve Slater, and he saved my butt with that. He said, sure, come on down and grab the stuff. You just need to be able to put it in your truck. So I grabbed a friend of mine and we went down there and Steve stood around and pointed for rocks and that's what we loaded up. And that's when I started lifting stones because in order to get them to an event, you have to lift them up because you got to put them in your truck or on your trailer. So I can rewind that back to 2014, 2015 was the first time I started lifting rocks because, well, to get them to an event, you have to lift them up and put them in a truck. So that's how I started, as a necessity.
And so how did your involvement did you end up leading any of the stone events at the Dublin Irish Festival
No, not
or?
till 2023, I think. Let's
Okay.
see, 25. So 2024, sorry. I mean, me and, it kind of piggybacked, me and Rob, were kind of coordinating Dublin for the Highland Games and getting Francis in there for the Stones. So we kind of were the umbrella of that. Is like we made sure the events were all the equipment was there, everything that was there needed to be there. But Francis was the one that ultimately was the MC, the coordinator, the AD. Me and Rob were just basically judges or scorekeepers. So it wasn't our thing. We were just helping Francis do his thing. So yes, we were involved in it, but we weren't in charge of it. I mean, me, and I didn't start actually getting involved in running stone events until the 2024 Dublin Stones of Strength, which was something my brother really wanted to do. And since my organization with the Highland Games, we were passing the Dublin Highland Games off to another organization, which is the Sticks and Stones people, Mandy and
Yeah.
so we passed that off to them, and then Dublin wanted to know about the Stones of Strength, and my brother said he would be interested in running that. And Dublin kind of felt more secure, safe, dealing with me because I've been dealing with them for over a decade. So I told them, I said, I will oversee, I will kind of coordinate, I will be your point of contact just to make you feel safe, because I carry the insurance and, I do the field layouts because they always require so much to put on an event in Dublin. So I kind of helped my brother start running, an event and passed on the event I was running on to, my friends that took over, and they're doing a great job of what they're doing. So I kind of taking a back seat. I'm stepping back a little bit, letting other people take over. They're half my age at this point. So it just gave me a little bit more time to just be more of a consultant, giving advice, answering phone calls, questions, stuff like that. So me and my brother, who, yeah, I don't know how social he is. If you want to talk to people, he is not quite the social butterfly I am, but he has so many ideas for what he wants to do for Stones of Strength and stone events. And just, uh, I live in reality, so I have to kind of back a little bit.
Yeah.
But, right. I mean, he'd be a great guy if you want to, talk about, creating things. He's the guy. So he wanted to learn, and I put on events. I mean, I have no problem putting on events. So I helped him. I'm like, this is your thing. I will help you. And so, and he's done a bang up job with it. And it's just, he wants to run with it. And I am supporting him every step of the way that, whatever he needs, I am there to help him. And that's why I have, I think between Atlas stones and natural stones in my front yard, I think I've got like 23 of them.
God.
That doesn't even count what we got over at my parents' house. If you need an event, I've got rocks. So that's why I have to keep lifting them so I can move them.
So I think you've hit on 2 points here that I kind of wanted to talk about, because this is something I found both in the Highland Games and the stone lifting, whether it's competitively or lifting just as part of a tour or on my own, is that community is so critical in the execution of a lot of these things. I mean, and your job is obviously community based too, but like, what did it kind of teach you about community, and what key partnerships did you develop? I know you mentioned Slater, but
Right. And that's one of the things is that I even had in my notes for like your 3 things for advice for people. So we'll touch on that at the end. But to go on that is when you get involved in a smaller sport, community is great. If you find somebody that has the same hobby you have something to talk about. You have somebody that you can at least, because even if they're not there, you can call them and tell them about it. You can go to any event. You can show up at a strongman event, even if you're not competing, and you can talk to the guys because you may have crossed Facebook or Instagram. You can make connections like, I need somebody to create this, or I need somebody that has this. Well, I also have things that they can borrow or they need, or I've got time that I can, like give them a couple minutes or a couple hours here and there. The community is great because all you need to do is be willing to do just as much as for them as they are for you. If they want to come over and lift rocks at your house, awesome. Now the next one's going to be at their house or the rock of their choosing or the event that they choose. Even if it's you guys going and watching something, like the Strongman at Oktoberfest here in Columbus, people that don't even compete come and watch because they know somebody competing, and you're standing right next to the athletes. And then you're next thing you know, like at last Oktoberfest, I'm sitting around talking to one of the guys that competed, and I was introduced to somebody that owns a stone cutting company. So now there's a stone cutter that I know that lives in Gahanna, Ohio. So if I need something cut, I maybe can reach out to them. Not that they would do it for free, but at least
Yeah.
I have the connection. But I mean, and also being in Columbus, Ohio, I'm lucky that way because we have Westside Barbell, we have Elite
Mhm.
FTS, Road, Steve Slater's down the street. We have Team Boss that goes between Plain City and Lancaster. We have the Worthington Strength guys. I'll tell you, those guys are getting really impressive with their stone lifts. Then we have Beyond Limits was doing a lot of strongman. So in Central Ohio, we've been very blessed with the amount of strength that is in Central Ohio. And there's a lot of crossover. I'm seeing a lot of guys with, going from gym to gym to gym because they've created friendships. And it doesn't matter whose gym or whose house you're at, you're having fun lifting things and making fun of the guy that can't until he can. That's, and it's all in camaraderie. It's good fun. I mean, it's just, you need somebody there to cheer for you. You need somebody there to say good job. Like I was even joking with the wife. I told Stephanie, I said, sorry, my wife's name is Stephanie. No, on that's for the future viewers. She doesn't lift rocks. I mean, she's lifted, a couple just like play, it's like, hey, I lifted this one, funsies. Well, she watches me on the Ring doorbell camera sometimes when I'm out front lifting, and she'll say, good job, babe, right there across the Ring camera. Or
Yeah.
when we went to Iceland, she's standing there freezing and holding the camera. And then when she's done, the whole good job, babe, and then give me a little high five. That's all you need. You need somebody there to say good job. But that's where the community comes in because they also need somebody to say good job when they do it. It is always about a personal goal. It's beating that rock. It's not beating the guy next to you. It's beating the rock.
Yes. Oh, I love that.
So it's, because I mean, like I listened to your podcast. I listened to it yesterday, the fascia, the whole thing about just what is good for you that day. One day you can lift this rock, the next day you can't. It that's that's just the way it is with stone lifting. Because I can walk into a gym any day of the week and I can be within 10-15% of my PR on deadlift.
Mhm.
That's just it's weightlifting. You've trained your body to do weightlifting. Well, stone lifting is totally different. I
Yeah.
can go out there and, press the, 220 out in my front yard today. And then 2 days from now, I go out there and I have to do to the lat, to the chest, and then I have to shoulder it. And it feels like it weighs 400 pounds. It's just each day, each stone is just different. And you just need to have somebody say, you did good. And that's all the stone lifting is somebody saying you did a good job, even if it's your mom. Like, my mom used to
Yeah.
yell out the upstairs window at us when we were out there throwing with the games or, doing the stone lifting, and she just, yell out the window, and no matter who did it, good job. So
And that is really enough. And I think, as you say, like it's the stories around the stone. Your wife may not lift. My husband doesn't lift either, but they are there. They are supporting, they're doing their thing. And it's been really critically important for me to be able to travel all over the place every summer to get these stones to every competition. And it's, yeah, like having that support for sure, and that community backing behind you. I mean, that's how you and I spoke. Like, we don't have, like, this is our first conversation
absolutely.
speaking,
I
like,
remember our first conversation via Instagram Messenger.
okay, all right, so he's gonna call me out here. I wanted to go to lift stones and compete, but your stones in Ohio are way out of my league.
I'm going back farther than that. It was
Oh,
I
what?
was trying to find out how to donate the money to Maximum Irons or the documentary about stones several years ago.
Oh,
I
I
reached
had
out
no
to
idea.
you because I saw that you were a donator to that, and I was like, wait a minute, I think I follow her on Instagram. So I messaged you about where's the link? How do I donate to this?
That's
And that was the
awesome.
first time we actually had a semblance of a conversation, was you telling me step by step on how I can donate money to this documentary, because I loved the documentary, and I love people that want to promote it. Just like with Stevie Shanks and Donald Denny Day, I donate every year to that
Yeah.
because I want it to keep growing. I have a couple dollars laying around. I'm going to give it to somebody that wants to promote their event. So that was the first time I reached out to you, was about the rise and the fall and the rise again of the Scottish stone lifting.
Yes.
That, I mean, that's a
Totally forgot
documentary
about
that.
that.
Oh yeah, no, that was the first time I talked to you. Yes, about the stones. I apologize. Our stones are heavy.
Yeah, they are. I might go to watch this year, but
That would be
okay,
great.
so you have been talking about, and okay, so when I come to visit, obviously I'm going to go and hopefully watch the Ohio Stones of Strength, but also come to your front yard because there's a lot of stuff going down in your front yard. All of the
Yes,
stones, plus, I might get this wrong. I think in 2022, you put up, or am I wrong?
I think it was 2022 with the Galloway
Okay.
stone.
Yeah, let's talk about that
That's
because
actually
I want to get people to do that.
that's down the street from the house. That's at my mom and dad's.
Okay.
And it's, I think, a 3-minute drive. The last time I had a group of people over, we actually went to the Galloway Stone first, then they came over to my house. It's a 3-minute drive. And yes, you're welcome to come over to the house. You just have to call me first. Anybody that's listening
Okay.
out there. And even if I'm not home, you can come lift the rocks. I just want to know so my neighbors don't freak out. But yeah, so the Galloway stone is only 249 pounds. And I say only, for being a challenge stone, 249 is not super heavy. It is an awkward stone. It does roll around. It does not want to be lifted. But that is something that, my mom really enjoyed the strength sports, at least watching people do the feats of strength. So, that's why the Galloway stone's sitting in her yard. So she could look right out the window and see everybody lifting it. So that was one of the reasons that it's sitting there. But it's also a great stone to lift. We have some lighter stones back by the back fence to warm up on if you guys want to warm up. Because I always hate that, driving somewhere and then the first stone you have to lift is, 400 pounds. You have no warm up. Because I don't travel with chalk all the time. I don't travel with band. Most people that just go out and whatever, they're warming up by walking to the rock. So swing the arms around a little bit, but over at my mom and dad's, I got some rocks out back you can warm up with, and then try the Galloway stuff.
And so tell me about the Galloway stone. It's 249. Where did it come from? How did you decide to do the plinth? Like all of that.
Okay, so the Galloway stone, they were doing some construction down the street from my parents' house, and I drove by it every day on the way to the gym, and I just saw them piling rocks up, piling rocks up, piling rocks up. And my brother had talked about wanting to do a stone at my mom and dad's. And I was like, they're not very often. I mean, because, you want to name it from where it's from. You want to
Yes.
have a stone from Galloway in Galloway. Because there's no sense in, traveling with a stone and then calling it something that it doesn't deserve. And one day I stopped into the construction site and I asked the guys that were working there, I said, hey, what are you doing with them rocks? And they're like, nothing. I said, okay, can I have them? And they're like, no, you can't have them, but we get off work at 5:00 and we don't know what happens when we leave. And I took that as my cue to go over there after I got off work at midnight and drove my truck back in there, and I rolled a bunch of rocks around. I brought my scale with me. And the funny thing is, in my uniform, got this
Oh my
stone up and put it in the
God.
back of the truck. And it's a construction site. Put it in the back of my truck, and it weighed on my truck, it weighed 252, I think. But suspension and all that stuff. So it wasn't accurate, but I was like, that's good enough. I'm exhausted from moving all these rocks. That's the stonework. So got home, pulled in the driveway, walked in the house, and the wife was like, what happened to you? And I didn't realize because it was dark out. I had mud from shin to chest. And I'm like, well, I got a rock. And she's like, it's Yes, I'm ridiculous. I know that. But she
I love it.
she was not surprised at all. She just
No.
shook her head and smiled and was like, okay. And so then everything went right in the walk. And then that's how the Galloway Stone, I got it. But
Mhm.
then with we were just going to put it out there in the yard. But then my brother Jeffrey decided, he's like, you know what? We need to do something with this. We need to make it nice. We need to make it something memorable.
Mhm.
So he got the idea of doing a plinth, and he does construction, remodeling, building. He's a carpenter by trade, but he's a jack of most. And he figured out a way to make a frame, like 1x2s, chicken wire, rebar, and he figured out a way to make a plinth and pour it while make a plywood box basically. And we poured the plinth. We put the cement mixer in the back of my truck, backed up to it, and started pouring it in. And a week later, we had a plinth that was usable. And the same thing with the Ketron Flieger Stone out in Preble County has a plinth he went out there and built, which was weird, having to bring a garden hose. He had to get like 200 feet of garden hose to get water there. But
What we do for stones.
no, absolutely. But I mean, that's something that if you have a stone, it's nice. I got a bunch in the front yard, but nobody's gonna remember lifting one of the rocks in my front yard. But if you put
Mhm.
a out there, or you have some kind of designated marker, or you get like a little card that says you lifted it, that builds a memory. That gives you something that you're gonna remember for a long time. So we want to do something nice for the community by having something, a goal. Here's a plinth.
Mhm.
You know, the Galloway Stone has a B on it for Beatty. That's where that's my mom and dad's house. That's the Beatty's house with the Galloway Stone. Uh, so that was just something we thought was like a kind of a give back, especially because that community out there, the neighborhood, they love the fact that we're out there all the time doing odds and ends. They bring out lawn chairs, sit on the sidewalk, watch us doing Highland games, stone lifting, acting fools. They enjoy it. And when we're not out there for a long time, they come over and they ask my dad, hey, when are they coming back out? So then he'll come in. I don't know, but we'll plan something.
So how high is the plinth? I've got to prepare for this. Not that I'm going to get, okay, I'm going to get air probably, but how high
I
is the
think
plinth?
I want to say it's 50. I don't think it's 52, but I think it's 50 inches. It may
Okay.
be under that. I would have to look. I have it written down somewhere. It's between 48 and 52. So I don't think it's 52, but it is a fairly high, 4 feet is high. So it's at least 48. So
So this is, given the fact that you're in Ohio, I mean, who has come to lift this stone? Has there been any women that have lifted the stone?
I've had several women, come and lift the stone. I have not had any of them put it on the plinth yet.
Okay.
I've had a couple of them chesting the stone, and the only way I know is they message me or they tag the Galloway Stone on Instagram. But generally, if somebody's going over there, they'll shoot me a message on Instagram or Facebook. Hey, I'm heading over there. But we've had several women chested. We've had several more break wind. Get wind
Yeah.
underneath them.
Yeah.
It sounds so, filthy every time, but get wind underneath them. And it's really because like their husbands or their friends or they're coming with the family to do this, and they always get talked into trying it. And which that's the best way to get into stones is getting talked into it. But they come out there and they give it a good try. I mean, even if you're rolling the stone around, I count that as a progress. I mean, it's not an easy stone, even though you see Sean Urquhart one motioning it, but he's something when it comes to stones. So I mean, we've had several women lift it. It's just I don't think any of them have gotten it on the plinth yet. But we've had people that have shown up for the Arnold in March, several for a couple years now, that have said, "Hey, we're heading to the Galloway Stone," or "Hey, we just left the Galloway Stone." I'm like, man, I should have been out there watching yet. Because whenever anybody comes out there, either me or my brother likes to meet you out there, and we bring a bottle of whiskey or scotch. And if you successfully lift it, we like to share a drink with you. So, because it's right down the street from the house. So, give me at least a 10-minute notice and I can be down the street with a bottle of whiskey.
So
It's
are there
fun.
any lifts that you've seen with the Galloway Stone that like blew your mind away or like that are really unique?
With the Galloway Stone, not really. The most impressive one is still, because I mean, we've had a lot of guys come out there and lift it, shoulder it, put it on the plinth, put it back down. But again, generally those guys are bigger and stronger than I am, so I'm not impressed by that. But Sean doing the one motion, he was one of the, I'd say the first half dozen people that have lifted that stone, and he just went out there and picked it up and put it right on the plinth. And I'm like, that is an awkward stone. And even when I lift it, it's not heavy, but it rolls. So I put it in my lap so I can get another grip on it to stand up with it. So, and not that I'm the greatest stone lifter, don't read into that too much, but I've lifted the Galloway stone enough times that knowing that a one motion on that thing is impressive. And so far, Sean doing the one motion is probably the more impressive lift I've seen on it. But then again, we all know Sean is one of the greatest stone lifters in Ohio, maybe the world.
Yes, he is. And so handle-wise, I don't think there's much grip there, right?
There's about 3 different ways to lift that rock.
Okay.
There's a rounded side that's more like an Atlas stone lift. But then when you lift it that way, the point of it goes in your chest. So it's harder to chest the stone because it pushes it farther away from you. I'm going to move this down because I talk with my hands a lot. And you can't see my hands. Also, my shirt. There you go. That's
we need the shirt.
There you go. And yes, it's pink. I do a lot of pink.
Let's do a little segue here. You can order those shirts, from what I understand,
yes.
correct?
There's a
Let's
link
do a
on the
plug there.
website. And the OhioStonesandStrength.com, there is a merchandise link on there. And it's 50-50. Some of the stuff is actually made by Jeffrey, my brother. And then the other stuff is it's like almost like a drop ship type deal. So if you go to the website, or honestly, if you reach out to my brother Jeffrey or me, we can put you in the right, send you the right place. Jeffrey is coordinating all the orders and everything for the Ohio Stones and Strength merchandise, which if you live in Ohio or you've been to Ohio, there's the shirt. And the pink is mine, so good luck getting him to make you one.
Well, I definitely have to order one because I did lift a stone, and we will talk about the stones around your area shortly. But before we get to that, where were we going? Because
the Galloway stone, the 3 points of lift on.
Yeah, yes. 3 points of lift.
So there's actually, the round part more like an Atlas stone, but it's awkward when you try to chest it because it puts the point right in your chest, so it stone's farther away. Then there's also 2 other handles, which gives you a flat side on the bottom, which gives you a better chance of putting your hands underneath of it and actually being able to pull it into you. But one of those 2 ways, the stone rolls away from you. The other way, it rolls towards you. So your choice, because if you're going to put it on a plinth, sometimes rolling away from you is better. But if you're trying to chest it or shoulder it, rolling towards you might be better. So it's every time you go out there, you got to figure out, how do you want that stone to roll? Because it does like to roll. It's a very awkward rock that has weight on one side of it, and it rolls away from you or towards you, but still fun.
Well, I'm hoping that we can get some lifters out there because there are various strongman athletes who listen to this as well. And so maybe when they go to Ohio, maybe they can do a drop by and we can see some amazing lifts this March. So that would be awesome. So you have a lot of stones in your yard, and we're not advocating for anyone to go out and, go to construction sites or whatever. But how would you? No. How do you pick your stones? How do you decide which ones kind of make it the cut?
Well, it's depending on what I want to do with them. I think last year, the year before, me and my brother went out to the Ketron Flieger farm, which is another stone that we have, the Ketron Flieger stone in Preble County, Ohio. It's out by Eaton, Ohio, the other side of Dayton, west of Dayton, basically the Indiana border. And that's property that my brother's in-laws own. And we've gone out there, and he just basically rock farm from stones from a farm field. It's just a lot of rocks. You have to pick them up. You have to weigh them. If I want a pressing stone, then I know, is it for males or females? Is it for me personally? Is it for a competition for a group of people? So I've lucked out, and I've made enough connections through doing this that I've been able to go to landscaping companies as well. And the funny one is there's one that's in Hilliard, Ohio, that if you can lift it into your truck, you can have it for $1. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah. But
that's
it's
so
kind of
cool.
like, they laugh about it because it's a landscaping company, and these big boulders and big rocks and stuff, most of the time, they're removing them from doing landscaping. So they're just sitting there. And if you go in and you tell them, hey, I'm going to use it for lifting, then they'll come out and watch you lift it into your truck. If you tell them you want it for a yard decoration or for landscaping, they're going to charge you by the pound.
Yeah.
So some of the companies will just say, if you can pick it up, you can have it. Give us $1. That's how I got all my throwing stones for the Highland games. Was I told them it's for throwing. They're like, you mean not decoration? Nope, it's for throwing. They're like, you can have 10 for $10, and you go out there and just weigh them and put them in your truck. If you tell somebody you're doing something weird with it, they're more likely to come out there and laugh about what you're doing instead of thinking that they're losing money because they're having a good time. You just tell them, hey, this is the event we're going to be using them at. And I've gotten a lot of rocks that way just by saying, this is a weird thing. I'm going to lift that rock for exercise. They're like, no, you're not. Well, how much would it cost? They're like, if you can put it in your truck, you can have it for $1. Okay. And there's the whole thing about no warm up, no nothing. And you get a 300 stone, pick it up and put it in your truck and you can have it. So,
and that kind of what happens on stone tours, and we'll talk about your most recent ones in a bit, but I guess I didn't do enough research on this other stone you have. Can you tell me a bit about like people who've lifted that, how much it weighs? Is there a plinth?
Yes, the Ketron Flieger stone is the one out in Preble County. It's at the fairgrounds. It is also has a plinth. It weighs 292, which is not an easy weight to think about. But it is almost if you look at it, it's almost cubical. It's still rough, it's still stone, but it has solid edges on it. It has edges. So it's absolutely a good lifting. If you want to rows with it, it's a great stone for that because it's got handholds. But that's actually, when you talk about your most memorable stone, that's actually my most memorable stone lifting.
Oh, wow. Tell us about that.
Okay. It is kind of just most of my stories about lifting rocks come from inconvenience or necessity.
Okay.
But the last time me and Stephanie, my wife, and Jeffrey, my brother, and his wife, Sarah, went to the Ketron Flieger farm to go rock hunting. We had a truck full of stones. We loaded, I don't know, probably 1,500 pounds of stones in the back of my truck that day. And then my brother said, well, since we're out here, do you want to go lift the Ketron Flieger stone? I've not lifted it. And at that point, he lifted it. And I think there was 3 or 4 other guys that showed up to a strongman competition they had at the fairgrounds that had lifted it. And I said, absolutely. Well, before we left the farm, Sarah, my brother's wife, her grandma wanted to go eat Skyline chili. So, yes.
Yeah.
So we spent all day loading my truck full of rocks. We went to her grandma's house. We left there and drove into, Eaton, and we ate Skyline chili. And of course, when you're at Skyline, you got to do the 5-way. So chili, noodles, onions, cheese, the works. And me being an old fat man, as I like to refer to myself, I ate a lot. So then we leave Skyline and we drive immediately to the stone. And I told my brother Jeffrey he had to lift the rock first because I want to see how he does it. And my brother Jeffrey is a very good stone lifter, and he is a very patient stone lifter. There's a difference between grip it and rip it and being patient. He's a very patient stone lifter. And he lifted it, put it right up there, took it down, put it back on the ground, and he said, hey, it's your turn. And my first thought was, I am awful gassy from the Skyline chili.
But this is not where I thought this was going.
This is no. This is not. It's not gross. No. But I'm like, man, we've been at this point. I had been either driving or sitting for more than an hour after loading 1,500 pounds of stones. So my old body, I'm full of food, and I'm stiff. I was able to get out there, and if you watch the video, you can probably find it on somebody's Instagram. If you look at it, you can see I pick it up, put it in my lap, no problem. But then once I'm down there, I'm like, I'm stuck. So I actually kind of start falling, and I have to put my hands against a plinth while the stone's still in my lap. And I'm like, well, I'm in a position where I can't dump this stone because it is fully seated between my belly and my knees, and I'm in a squatted position, so I have to stand up with it. So, of course, try to find a handhold, move the rock around a little bit, get a handhold, and it is basically I stand up and then do a good morning with it. And then I have to and it's funny, I call it the baby elephant comes out. I made that noise
Yeah.
then I put it up on a plinth, and when I was done, turned to put my hand on it, and I was just done. I was exhausted at that point. It was just, the amount of food I had in me, the amount of sitting down I had in me, I had nothing left after that lift. And luckily, my brother was there to get the stone off the plinth and put it back on the ground because I just went back to the truck. I was done. So I remember just of course it's, and nobody take this wrong way. It was only 292.
Mhm.
That is heavy. It is very heavy for a stone, but I can lift that stone. But the conditions under which I lifted it made it memorable. It was just not the day to lift that stone, but I could not fail with my brother who had just done it, my wife who, hey, you can't let your brother outdo you, and then
Yeah.
his wife, Sarah, who she's the best athlete out of the four of us. I'm not going to, I can't let Jeffrey outdo me in front of everybody. So it was a point of pride that I'm like, I have to lift this stone and I don't care how uncomfortable I am. It's going to happen. And then I'm like, I'm going to go sit down because that's all I have today. And then I started cramping up the drive back because that's an hour drive back to my house. So the drive back was not fun either. So it was cramping. But that's probably my most memorable stone lift is because of how uncomfortable but generally I'm not the guy that I can let a stone drop back to the ground. I don't have a pride or ego problem when it comes to stone lifting. If I lift it, get in my lap and I can't stand with it, yep, okay, that's it. I'm not going to hurt myself lifting a rock. I'm not going to do it. But that stone that day, I could not put it back on the ground because I had to do it. Because then at that point, I know other people had lifted it, but I think Jeffrey was the only other person who put it on the plinth. So
Yeah.
I had to be the second person that did it. It's my stone. I got to do it.
Yeah.
And I can't expect other people to do it if I can't. So that was the mentality. And I always remember that because we do laugh about the last time we ate Skyline was I had to lift a rock. And oh God, that was a fun day. It was great.
Well,
We
I'm
had a
going to
good laugh.
have to add Skyline to my list of things to do when I'm in Ohio next. But one stone in Ohio is definitely on my top 5 experiences to lift, and that is the Grassman. And there's a number of reasons why it's my favorite or in the top 5. One, they no longer allow you to park on the side of the road to get to it. And I didn't know, I was by myself and I didn't know where the heck I was going. So I parked down at the visitor center of the park, which is what's park is it?
I would have to look it up.
It's
The
far.
Cuyahoga, yes,
Cuyahoga
it
Park,
is.
yes. And it's far. And I hiked in, like definitely a couple miles to this
We'll
stone.
say it's 10 miles, just to make it sound better.
Yes, thank you. So I hiked all the way in, and I went down, I saw the falls. I knew that I was in the right spot. It was gorgeous. And this is in my view, a must visit stone. But there's a lot of stones down there. And I'm like, I don't know which one this is. So Brian, who's from New England, Brian, Red Dog,
Yes.
he is in Iceland. Okay. I decide that the most brilliant thing to do is text Brian, who's in Iceland, a picture of the stone that I think is Grassman to see if I'm lifting the Grassman. And he was there. He replied, yeah, sure. Great. So I work on it. And I did not take enough chalk because it's wet down there. I would highly recommend taking the chalk, but I got air under it. And I don't know how much it weighs. I just knew that this was
I'm pretty sure it's been scaled at 270.
What?
That's I have on the website. That's what Sean's the one that weighed that stone. So I believe that he is accurate. And I am impressed. I mean, 270 stone, that's nothing to laugh at. That is impressive.
I didn't know what I was doing. Like, I didn't know how much it was when I was
it's
lifting
best to not know the weight of the stone until after you lift it. I mean, because everybody knows your mind is the biggest thing when it comes to lifting. If you're trying to set a new PR and you're like wrapped around the number that you're lifting, then you're never going to lift it because you are wrapped up mentally in what weight that is. So if you just go lift it and then you figure out what it weighs, now you can overcome that crutch of, your mind holding you back. I mean, your body is very capable. Your mind is what holds you back on most of your lifts. I mean, and honestly, it makes me laugh because the people that actually are able to overcome their mind when it comes to lifting are amazing to me. I mean, and I know you know her, and this is something I point out all the time. And I think I've only met her once in my life, but Hannah Lindsay
Yeah,
is
yeah.
somebody that, the nose bleeding, the deadlifting, the stone lifting, Jan Todd Day winner. She has the ability to take her mind out of it. She's one of the rare people that is able to just do it because, she has no limit in her mind. The rest of us, humble, just normal human beings, we have a limit. Like if I'm going to go set a new PR, that PR is in my mind for weeks. If you can overcome that and just say, I'm going to lift this and then I'll figure out how much it weighs.
Yeah.
Your body did the work. I mean, your mind's not in the way. And it's sad to say that that's how I've actually set a couple PRs in the gym, is because I get busy talking sometimes and I didn't know how much weight I had loaded on the bar. And
And it was more than
it was
scheduled.
more than my programmed weight.
Yeah.
And it ended up, I've set PRs by just not paying attention. Now, I've also taken a couple naps in the gym that were, from doing that when it should have been, just a set, and I set a PR instead, and I didn't realize it until I woke up from my nap that I had more weight on the bar than I needed. I'm a firm believer in, if you don't know the weight of a stone, you can lift a stone. Just because you're not aware of it, your mind doesn't make you think, can I lift it? You just walk up and lift it. That's why I don't have weights on my stones. They're not listed on there. You come out and lift them, I'll tell you what they weigh afterwards. I know how much they all, but I don't put them on the stones. If you lift it, I'll tell you how much it is. And you will be impressed by how much you can lift when you get out of your own head.
And so I have a love for Ohio. I really enjoyed, like, it's phenomenal. If you have a chance to go, definitely do the Grassman for sure. Like, it is beautiful. The scenery is beautiful. And while I have you here, I did lift a few other stones that were closer to the falls that I think should be part of some type of lifting there. Like, they're right by the falls. I don't know how much they weigh, but they're somewhat manageable. And I think they should come back down to the Grassman area. And so then you have like 3 stones there of some sort, because it's just the hike in, the view. Like, I went in the water. It was beautiful. You've obviously lifted that stone.
Yep.
Probably
Not as
multiple
easily
times.
as my brother did. Not as easily as my brother did. It's not an easy stone. I mean, it's a great stone. It's not an easy one. It is a beautiful stone if you look at it.
Mhm.
Like I actually looked. I think you posted your video of you lifting that, or you sent it to me. I can't
Mhm.
remember. I saw the video of you with it. I
Yeah.
don't think it was you lifting it. It was a picture of you with it. And if anybody wants to look at it, it is a very beautiful stone. It is deceptive though, because it looks like there would be a lot of handholds on it because of the way it has some dips, but it is very smooth and it's got rounded edges. So the hands, the cupping of the hands is a big play on that one. And that's what I like about them, is they may look easy to somebody that's watching a video and saying, that looks easy enough. And then when you put your hands on it, it's not easy. So,
Yeah.
and that's why I say, regardless of the weight, some stones can be light, some stones can be heavy. Some of them are just not easy.
Are there other stones in Ohio that you would recommend besides your own that
Well,
lifters
there's
could
one
lift this summer?
and it's actually kind of funny. There is one that's in my front yard, but it's our traveling stone. It is, and we call it, and excuse me, the Buckeye stone.
Yes, the Buckeye.
Yes, because Sean started out with the Cardinal stone and the Buckeye stone, and he had a couple other ones that, he traveled around with, brought them to events, and, people were lifting them. Well, he didn't have a need for the Buckeye stone to be in his garage, driveway, front yard anymore. So I think we traded rocks. I gave him one. He gave me the Buckeye. I don't know why he named it the Buckeye stone, probably because we're in a Buckeye State.
Buckeye State, yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, but I want to call it the Buckeye Stone because it travels. It stays in the state of Ohio, though. So no matter where we're at, or where we're going or what we're doing, the Buckeye Stone is available to be lifted. It's my traveling stone. So whenever we, like if we go put on an event, or if we show up at an event, or we're somewhere that people are lifting rocks, I put the Buckeye Stone in the back of the truck and take it with me. So if anybody wants an opportunity to lift the Buckeye Stone, it's generally in the back of my truck. So like it's in my front yard now, but if we'll say that we go to a Highland Games event, I'll throw it in the back of my truck and take it with me. So that way you have a chance to lift the Buckeye Stone.
And how much does it weigh?
About 320.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to. And how are the handles on that one?
Terrible.
Oh, okay. So that's not even getting wind under it.
No, I mean there's a couple of different sets of handles on it. And generally if you're lifting the stone, I'm standing there, I'll show you the handles on it. But if you stand it up on one of the edges, there's a couple knobs on there you can grab a hold of. But it's kind of smooth, but there's a couple knobs on the end that you can grab a hold of. But also if you lay it flat, there's grooves where you can fit your forearms down in, and they kind of cup them almost like more like an Atlas stone lift versus a natural stone lift. So there's a couple of different lifting spots on it, but the handles aren't great. You just got to get it in your lap and then move it around from there. Because even the guys that, I had a group of guys from the Worthington Strength guys that came down, and we had a great time in the front yard. It was good. I think there were 6 of them. The kids in the neighborhood brought their chairs out. They were sitting on the sidewalk. The wife had her chair out. Everybody sitting on the sidewalk cheering for people to lift the rocks. And everybody lifted it a different way. Because you got different strengths, you got different weaknesses, but they figured it out, but it was a struggle for every one of them. I showed them where I prefer to lift it from, but they started out with that, and then they found out a different way that they wanted to lift it, and which is all natural stones is your preference. And then when we were done, we had popsicles. Some of them don't drink, so we didn't have the whiskey, so we had popsicles. Yeah. But it was a fun day, and we had quite a few people come down and lift that stone, but there's no good handles on it, and it's heavy, and it has terrible handles, which makes it even tougher. So if you can shoulder that stone, which I think we had 3 of the guys there that day shouldered the stone, and it was out of pure spite. They did not want to be the one guy that didn't do it, even though there were several people that didn't. It was a back and forth between the guys of, you have to do it, you have to do it, you have to do it. I didn't even lift it that day because I wanted them to have their moment in time and glory. I recorded for everybody. It was great having them guys out. That's my favorite thing about the stone lifting is all the guys coming over, and I have fun encouraging them, laughing for them, cheering for them. That's the best part for me. I don't compete. I just want to see them do good. I love watching them do the things that I've done or that I can't do. Honestly, I mean, sometimes these guys amaze me. They come over and lift the rocks, and it's amazing to witness it, especially because they're so young and have such a good future of stone lifting.
Yeah. Well, I myself am the same, doing the Stones of Strength here, or like even in my garage, having people over. I love to be the witness of people lifting the stone for the first time or lifting a weight that they had no idea. And it's just, I don't know, I get so much from that. And it could be witness or it could be the word service. Like I feel like giving back is my providing the environment for it.
Love language, giving back. You're a giver.
Yeah, I'm a giver. And I think you are too, based on what I've heard. And so, yeah, I definitely have to pick up the vids from the folks that came down to lift that. Because I wonder if they had been training for that?
Well, they what inspired them to train, and I talked to them about it, is when they came out for the Ohio Stones of Strength, the first year that me and Jeffrey put it on, they came out, and it defeated a lot of people. Like you said, my stones are not light. I do have light stones, but when I put them out for competition, I put them out, can I do it? If I can do it, then we need to up it a little bit for the competition. I mean, even for the women, I'm a pretty good gauge of what the female athletes can do. And it's sad to say is I have to keep trying to stay ahead of Kendra Dancer.
Yeah.
She's a beast. And I mean,
she is.
And I have to stay ahead of her a little bit. So I had to up my Atlas stone weights too because of her. But I mean, that's not a bad thing. I mean, she's somebody that people should strive to be like, or, inspire. She should inspire people. She inspires me. I mean, she does things that's amazing that I love watching and witnessing. But when we put the stones out there, the thing I thought of the first year we did it was I loaded all those stones on the trailer myself. These guys should be able to do it. Well, I took a whole day to do it. They have 5 hours. So they're, much younger, better shape, stronger, they're good athletes, but they're traditional strongmen. Well, I just put them into a 5 event, well, 5 event of nothing but stones. So you went from doing barbells and rings and like different holds and carries to you're doing nothing but lifting rocks. Well, since that first event, they have been so active on learning how to lift stone that, because I have a 400-pound Atlas stone that we put at the event, which 400 pounds, if you look at it in the grand scheme of things, there are much heavier Atlas stones around, but I do a 5-stone run and a 400-pound stone afterwards. For the 5-stone run is at like 48 inches, and then the 400-pounder is at 52. Nobody's put it over the 52 yet. That's my challenge stone. You've got to lift that. There you go. Good luck. And that's the last event of the night. We also have at that event, we have the founder stone for the men, which is a 305-pound stone. And we do that stone to shoulder for reps. And you get points based on, is it lapped, is it chested, is it shouldered, and you get points just like the Arnold does for their tombstone lift. And then for the women, we have the, I think it's the Shamrock.
Shamrock, yeah. That's the only one I think I can actually lift.
Right. And it's like 30 maybe?
Yeah.
I think it's 230 or 232. And that is the same thing. Lap it for points, chest it, shoulder it. And those are the stones that eventually, when we get logistics done with Dublin, are going to be at Kaufman Park. So people in the general public can show up and do it as a stone lift. So we just need to get,
I love that.
Yeah, so we're going to try to put it by the Founders Bridge. So we had the Founders Stone and the Shamrock at the Founders Bridge. We just need to get, Dublin and their logistics, insurance, house cities. So we're still negotiating. Well, we're offering to do it for them, but they need to say, okay, and we'll take it there and we'll set it up and we'll do an event thing. But that's the whole thing is, with these events is I put guys and gals that are used to lifting, deadlifting, squatting, sandbag throws, doing sandbag carries. Take them away from the strongman and put them in stone lifting. We're going to do the same events, but you got to do it with a rock. And it beat up a lot of people that first year because they were like, well, that's a 300-pound stone. I should be able to do that easily. I do a 400-pound sandbag until they grab a hold of that 300-pound stone. Then it's a whole new world. So that was part of our concept of the event is we want everything to do with stones. We don't want barbells. We don't want chains. We don't want metal involved. We want rocks. And that's, I think the beauty of it is these guys that are, I think we had 9 different states come in for the last event. We want more, but that has to do with money, logistics, time, all the things that put on an event. But we want them to reach out, branch out. Don't just stick in a gym. Get outside and lift a rock. When you can prove to me you can lift a rock, come on down and we'll put you in an event, which actually is kind of funny. Walking into that is when I was in Iceland, ran into a couple guys at the Magnus and they showed some interest in coming to our event in Dublin just because we do nothing but rocks.
Yes. Because
the Magnus is a lot of natural stuff. I mean, the axle deadlift is an old drive shaft from a boat. The stone lifts are all just rocks that are laying there. The lava rocks that have been laying there for years that cut you up when you lift them. The Husafell stone, everything's natural. It's more primitive. And I really enjoy the primitive aspect of it. And I think these guys are starting to learn to enjoy it as well. And most of it is bragging rights for these guys. I mean, they all know each other, but they're bragging about, I did better than you did on this particular rock. And then the next rock, the other guy does better. So they have bragging rights on that one. But that's what the Dublin Festival is for us, is bragging rights.
So, talking about bragging rights, I just want to segue to something that has been part of a few discussions I've had lately. How do we broach then the strongman world and the historical stone lifting world w- where they can kind of work in harmony? Because we want we want to obviously respect the stones, and there were some challenges at the Magnus with the
Yes.
Husafell. Um, and I think, there's been discussions underway about how we can maybe do that differently next time. But how do you think that we can create a unified community with some very divergent types of people and still respect the historical aspect of stone lifting?
Well, and I know as well. I know you've seen it as well as I have. The people that, and I put it in my comments all the time when I post a video of me lifting stone. I dropped it because it's my stone.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Right. It's mine. It's mine. I can drop it. But I've had a lot of talks with people about this, and the historical stones. Maybe this is not something that other people believe in, but I don't think historical stones should be any part of a competition at all, because it's for the historical aspect of it. If you want to do a stone for a competition, I think you should have competition stone. So, like at the Magnus, okay, they do
Hmm.
the Husafell stone, which I mean, again, I've touched the Husafell, did not lift it, got it to my knees, had to put it back down. But I'm okay with that because of the circumstances and the fact that I'm really old and it was hard and it was cold.
Yes.
Hats off to the guys that did lift it that day. It wasn't as cold as last year, but it was still chilly. But the stones they use for lifting it up over the bar, they do the metal, the I-beams, they put it over. It's like the stone over bar, just like we do at Dublin. We have the hitching post, the long one. It's 18 feet long. They just put it over it. Those are stones that they can just find anywhere. Those are just
Hmm.
rocks.
Yeah.
They have no historical significance. They weight them in the summertime and let them sit there until they lifted them. I'm okay with that. Throw them around, drop them on each other. I don't care. There's no significance to them. But when you start adding things like the Inverstone for funsies, you know, well, I mean, you go to Scotland all the time. All those stones that the plinths, and again, I mean, we've donated to getting repairs done for all the stuff over there. But I don't think the historical stones should have a place in competition because who who are the grandchildren, the great grandchildren? Who are they? What are they going to live? If you
Hmm.
want to do a competition, find competition stones, and that's what me and Jeffrey have tried to do. Is we get stones in that we don't care if they get broken. I mean, they have to last the competition, but we don't care if they get broken because there is no significance to them. I mean, again, they are stones, they are lifting, so there is that significance, but there is no historical significance. But what I've seen is, if you bring back, like the Rogue Invitational with the inverse stones getting carved, the replicas getting carved, that's a good idea. I appreciate that. I can appreciate that. You look at what's that the Texas people that did
Sticks and stones.
it's Sticks and Stones,
Yeah.
from OS.
Yeah.
They did the loadable stones, because they can replicate those. They can, pour more molds. You're keeping the potential damage of historical stones out of a competition because if you do a competition, you're lifting that stone 40, 50 times, that is something that may not be done in a year at some historical stones. So leave it alone. Let it be a historical marker. Let it be a historical stone. People that appreciate what they're doing can go out there. Because I've seen, and this is kind of, I won't say his name, but he'll know if he ever watches this who I'm talking about. That's why we can't have nice things.
Yes.
Because no matter how it's lifted, the result is throwing it to the ground. Be it barbells, be it stones, be it atlas stones, be it dumbbells. No matter how it's lifted, it gets thrown to the ground. Yes, you're in the moment. Yes, you're excited. Yes, you're doing amazing. But that's why I think historical stone should not be in a competition. Is because when you're done with this is the best lift I've ever had. You want to cheer. You want to,
Yes. Yep.
but what if you break that stone? Now nobody else can ever lift it. But if it's a competition stone, just like an OSG had, somebody broke one of the stones because it wasn't intentional. It was, I saw it slipped off the post and fell to the ground. It just hit on an awkward angle and chipped off the end of it. They replaced it with a sandbag, which that, well, I don't like those sandbags, but you can't do that with a historical stone. You can't replace a historical stone with a sandbag. But a competition stone, you can kick it to the side. You can leave it for whoever else. Here you go. You have a piece of that stone. Take it home with you.
Mm-hmm.
But with the historical stones, I don't. If 50 people in a year lift it, great. 50 people in a day, that's a lot of just undue tension on that rock. It's just pressure, pressure, pressure. It's only so many times you take a swing with a sledgehammer on a rock before it breaks. If you keep dropping it on, especially like when I was in Iceland, that ground was frozen. Every time you dropped it, it's going to put stress on the rock. So, but with moving into strongman is like what Sticks and Stones is doing in Texas. Because I think Rogue and because there's the guy in Lancaster, Ohio, not Steve, but a friend of, or somebody he knows in Lancaster was the one that did the Enver Stone replicas. That's the appropriate measure in my mind, is getting people to address natural stones, but not the historic ones in competition.
Mm-hmm.
So, but they are acknowledging it, and we're stepping in the right direction. It's getting more acknowledgement. It's getting more notoriety.
We were not even planned to talk about this, and I'm super happy that we are, because I think it's really timely.
Right. If you roll back time, I mean, even like if you remember, like Paul Dwyer and Eddie Williams went to Scotland at the stone
to
pressing.
Do the Enver. Yeah.
Yes. And the amount of backlash they got on dropping the stone to the ground.
Yes.
Both of them did an apology video because they were unaware. And so if we can bring the awareness of the historic stones, maybe not do that next time. Maybe take a mat or take a pad or whatever to put it down, because I know when I press stones overhead, I'm not thinking, and especially if it's at the top end, I'm not thinking about placing it down gently. I'm done and I drop it to the ground. So if we take the historical aspect out of that, that would be great. I mean, I'm all for the 15 or 16 guys that press the Enver Stone overhead to date. That's an amazing feat of strength, but always have a pad or have people that are there to help you. But don't put it in a competition, because if we want 15 or 20 people trying to press the Enver Stone, 10 of them are going to fail.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just dropping it over their shoulder. It could land on a pebble on the ground and crack.
Yes.
And I've seen that happen in my front yard. I've dropped it and it's landed on a piece of pea gravel, and I've got cracks and fissures in, some of the stones just because it landed wrong. And again, they're my stones, so I can do that. But with the historical stones, no. But we've gotten to the point where people are creating natural stone-like things to do at strongman competition, and I can appreciate that. I really do appreciate that, and I think it will push the sport forward. And I'm calling natural stone lifting a sport just because technically it is, but it's a pastime, it's a hobby, it's something that we all love doing when you start doing it. So I appreciate they're trying to do it, and I think that moving forward, they will continue doing it and get better at it.
No, and I think, and because there was a video recently of the last couple days that was up, and so I messaged this guy.
Yeah,
and,
I saw it. I saw the video.
But I messaged him personally, and I think that, as you say, there's an education aspect because they don't know. And I mean, I think it's hilarious because I'm all of 5'4", a 50-year-old woman in this 300 plus pounds, 6 foot, I don't know.
Well, now you're judging me because I'm 300 plus and I'm 6'3", so now you're judging me. I got it.
It's sorry. No, but this wee little woman coming into your DMs saying, excuse me, can you please put it work on your
stone.
Don't slam the stone down. And can you please work on your, I legit said this, can you please work on your negatives? like to
Absolutely. And
this world-renowned stone lifter.
well,
But I did it. I did it because you
yeah,
have to.
you posted something about that today or yesterday. It was
Yeah.
about you working with what Big Sexy Granddad
Yeah.
about doing your negatives, taking it from the top down and putting it back on the ground. You have to work on that because it's not only is it respectful of the stones, but it's almost like doing a negative on a bench. It's teaching you more control of the weight and the stone. It will build strength of you taking it and easing it back down. You'll get more used to the weight. So no, I absolutely can appreciate that. You need to work on the negatives.
Mhm.
Yes. Lay the stone down nicely. Even when I drop them out here in my front yard, I know where to drop them because I've cleared it out, and sometimes it's just mud there. But it's a soft landing. I make it land flat. It's like it's not landing awkward. I am conscious of how I'm still dropping it, and I think that more and more that we see it on Instagram, more and more that we see it on YouTube, I think more of the common lifters are more respectful of the stones than your famous lifters.
Mhm.
I'm not talking like we know the stone lifters. I mean,
Yes. Yeah.
we know, but if you're talking like in the people that are doing it, they're professional strongman or their notoriety is pretty high. They are there to get the Instagram clicks and likes and everything that I lift the stone. But I've noticed the people that appreciate the stones more are the people that are like me and you. We're
Mhm.
out there to lift the weight. We're out there.
Yeah.
We're not famous. I'm nobody.
We no.
You're somebody, I'm nobody.
No, I'm
But I
nobody.
mean, yeah, but I mean, I appreciate, like, if I'm going to somebody else's place to lift a rock, I'm not smashing that thing on the ground. I'm cradling that thing. Like when I went to the Orbear outdoor, museum in Iceland, there was one rock that I had to put down flat, but I made sure that I kept as much weight in my hands as possible all the way to the ground, but I had to drop it. And it was from the chest. I was trying to press it and it
Mhm.
wasn't happening. It was, well, we'll say I'm old. It was cold and, but, and I put it down, but I turned it to lay it back down to where it was naturally lay. So I was conscious of that. But then after I got home from Iceland, I started watching a lot of other people lifting those stones and they were chucking them from their shoulder. They tried to
Yeah.
press them. They're like, going over their heads or just smashing them on the ground. And I'm like, I was just there and that ground was frozen. And I didn't appreciate that because I was like, I did better than you did. And I'm nobody.
Mhm.
So, but I mean, again, I mean, it's just, I think the appreciation for the stones is growing. And I think the notoriety for being able to lift the stones is growing. So I think that we're going to get a lot more people out there and the more people that listen to people like you and me that tell you, be gentle with the stone, don't throw it, don't drop it, don't,
Mhm.
smash stuff. I think that more people will listen because it's going to become more common. And I think more famous people that listen to what we have to say, maybe more people will listen.
Yeah.
So,
So you talked about training the negatives, and I want to talk about your training before we talk about your Iceland trip and other stone lifting you've done. But talk to me about your training. I saw something crazy in one of your posts that you were using a band and
yeah.
with a stone, and what is that? But it makes so much sense. Talk to me about your
Okay.
training then.
All right. So that particular video was something that I was working up to a new weight of a stone. That stone itself only weighs about 267. Not about. It does weigh 267. Sorry. I told you I know exactly how much every stone weighs this month. But that stone to lift it in my lap got easy. So I started doing stone rows because stones are different. You can turn them different ways, turn them different sides. And every time you grab a hold of it, even if you know where you're grabbing a hold of it, it's different today than it was yesterday. So if I'm doing just rep work like on rows with a stone, like you have to row the stone at a certain point to get it in your lap. Not everybody can do a straight leg deadlift and put it in their lap. I can't. So I like to pretend I can, but I can't. So in order for me to make that stone, which I found a good handhold on it, I was like, you know what? I'm going to keep practice. So I was like, this is getting easy. So I threw a band over it and I stood on the band. So to add an extra tension, just in order to actually row the stone, because ultimately you want to, even if you're standing in your chest, you want to be able to pull it into yourself. So if you can row it from the ground or pull it in your chest, that's work you need to do. And I've always found bands are great for that because yes, it gets heavier at the shortened position and it's lighter at the bottom and all that, but it's, pulling it into you will strengthen your, because I always like to cut my hand. Sorry, that hand's a little weird, but pull it into you. You want to pull it in on all your stone lifts. You want to pull everything in. So you have to strengthen up your hands to be able to do that. And the best way I figured out, and it was just one of those things where I was just out there that day and I was doing a bunch of, bent over rows with them. And I was like, this is just not good enough because I couldn't do rows going from the 267 to the next one up was, I think was the Buckeye Stone at 320. So I needed something in between there. Because I mean, I can do a couple rows with the Buckeye Stone, but it's more of a top end workout versus a rep. So I got the red band out from Elite FTS and threw it over top, stood on it, and I was like, this is a heck of a workout. This is really nice. I can feel pulling the elbows in and, getting the back engaged and pulling the stone up. So that way I can at least get it up in the air. Bent over stone rows are amazing. I think there's actually a guy here in Ohio, and for the life of me, I cannot remember his name, but he actually makes, these metal, arts. Yes. But so that way you're holding it and you're doing these motions, you're doing rows is basically to teach you to pull it off the ground or to pull it into your body when you're standing up. But that's an amazing, workout just to get used to handling stone. I mean, there's a lot of exercises I could tell you about. Some of them I don't do a whole lot of. Like I use a Swiss bar or some football bar, some sort, angled grips or straight up and down, but I still try to just grab it, like not a true grip or a hook grip, but like an actual cup grip to actually scoop the weight instead of, grabbing and pulling towards me. Just because of grabbing natural stones, you can't grab the natural stone. You have to cup it to grab it. So I still try to do that with the football bars or the Swiss bars, just to give me a little bit more ability to pull it off the ground. Because I'm a firm believer, if I can get it up off the ground, I can put it in my lap. And then the next step is your front squats and your Zercher. Again, both terrible exercises.
Terrible. Zerchers are terrible.
They're brutal.
But they're so necessary in stone lifting.
Yes, they are. And I like Zerchers because they're so painful, but I don't do them for reps. I do them for weight. I don't do them for reps.
Okay.
They're terrible. Your forearms are sore, everything's gross. So, but I mean, if you want to be able to stand up with a stone, you have to do Zerchers. You have to do front squats. It's part of the plan is you have to do that because like me, I have a very weak, I have a very weak front squat, but my good mornings are amazing. So if you ever watch any videos of me lifting stones, I stand up and then I arch into it.
Yeah.
So, my upper back is very strong. My lower back and my squat, terrible. So I overcome it by, I try to train the Zerchers in the front squats, Astragrass type, or sorry, I didn't mean to swear on your channel.
Yeah, Apple's gonna make it explicit.
Yeah. Blur that out, but the ASG style squats.
Yeah.
Because when you lift a stone in your lap, that's where you end up. Your butt's on the ground. So the rock's in your lap, the butt's on the ground. How do you get out of position? So you got to do Zerchers, you got to do front squats, you got to get your butt on the ground.
And you know what? Let's just stay on Zerchers for a minute, even though it is a painful exercise. Sean introduced me to them when he was coaching me. And
of course,
what you have to realize, and your people are going to be listening to this and say, they hurt. Can I use pads? Can I use this? Can I use that? No, just do them. It'll build character. Like,
Yes, it will.
just like you may end up like I ended up with bruises the days that I was doing Zercher because I don't know why, but the way that it cradles in your elbow,
Yeah, the
I
crook of your elbows.
yeah.
Yeah,
But you just have to do it.
you just have to. And here's another shout out. Zercher Death March. Find him on
Oh,
Instagram. He
okay.
does he's one of our he's a stone lifter. But Zercher Death March, everything Zercher. I mean, it is just it's ridiculous. I enjoy doing Zerchers because it is you've lifted stones. You know how painful it is when you get to the top. You
Yep.
get down on it and it is pain. It's on your chest, it's on your shoulders are pulling, your back is tight, your hands are sore, everything is terrible, same as a Zercher. So if you're looking at doing any kind of Zercher carries for strongman, you're doing Zercher squats, it is a terrible event. I hate it, but I have to do it. But it is one of those things where you get underneath of it and you're like, once you get through, my forearms hurt, it's scraping me up, it's painful, I don't like it. Next thing you know, you're standing up and you've got weight in your arms and you're just like,
Yeah.
this is not that bad.
Yeah.
It is something else. Zerchers are terrible lifts that I hate with a passion. But I mean, I honestly, sometimes I do like almost like a pin lift. I put the weight on the bar in a rack and then I get
Oh,
underneath of
okay.
it and I
Right.
just do stand up with it as, there you go, put it back down, take a breather, do it again. Because if I want to lift a 340-pound stone, I can't lift it if I can't stand up with it.
Yeah.
So if
So
I can put
yeah,
that
so
weight
you've
on a
heard it
bar,
here.
yeah.
Josh Beatty, Sandra Bradley, and Donna Moore can do it. And they have it in their program. Maybe you should too.
You know what? That's good company to keep because I know them
Right?
and they are
Yeah.
amazing. I
Yeah.
actually I don't think I can hold a candle to their strength. I mean,
No,
good
I mean,
Lord,
they
I've been
have it in their
following them for
program.
years. They're
Yeah.
amazing.
I
I
saw
mean, I
Donna
wish I
doing
had
them
the
the other
stone
day.
lifting that Donna Moore had. Yeah, I've been watching her for years. She's amazing.
Yeah.
Sandra,
Amazing.
whew, too bad her back was a little bit sore at OSG
Yeah.
because he does, especially watching her with the one knee on the ground technique. That the rolling the stone across her to get up with it. That is something honestly for smaller lifters or lighter lifters or less. I'm gonna say less strong lifters.
Mhm.
If you can get it in your lap and get to a position. I mean, watching Sandra with her technique on rolling it across her, get it across her leg into her lap, then get the other leg underneath. That is, I've watched many videos with her. That is amazing. I don't have the mobility for that, but if you do, that is something that look into that. That is a really good idea
Yeah.
and brings your entire musculature into it.
What Josh is talking here and if you haven't watched it, you really should. It's the final event in OSG. Sandra, her lower back had reactivated, and she went into that event with a different style of stone lifting than she had, as Josh had explained. And so, if you haven't watched the final event of the OSG, specifically where Sandra is lifting the stones, it's definitely worth a watch because many a stone lifter have had back issues, and this was a workaround for her. So, yeah, definitely worth a watch. But back to you.
Oh
So
yeah, back to me. Sorry,
back to
I like
you.
talking to other people.
You've done all of the training. You've had your Zerchers. You've done the rows, your good mornings, and now you're in Iceland because that's the most recent trip that you've done.
Yes, correct.
Talk to us about your Iceland trip.
Well, the Iceland, first of all, amazing. If you guys want to go there, well, even if you don't, you should.
Right.
It was great. We had a fantastic time. We did all the lagoons, we did all the hot springs, we tried to do the geothermal stuff. It was amazing. I really enjoyed being in Iceland, not because of any of the, like the strength culture, not because of that. That's an add-on. But we enjoyed being around they're genuinely nice people.
Mhm.
And everywhere we went, good people, good food. Hot dogs are a must. The best one I had was at the N1 gas station. So, sorry about the Pilsner versus a Pilsar, but the N1 best hot dog I had. They were the greatest. And a plug for the Islenski Baron, the Iceland bar. Those people were amazing. And if you want to get a chance, do the Brennivín and put a little Tabasco in it. That was amazing because I liked the shark and the Brennivín. I guess I'm a weirdo, but it was an amazing trip. Stephanie got a chance to do all of the Aurora Borealis. If you look at my Instagram, I mean, I'm not trying to plug myself, don't get me wrong, but we were able to see the Northern Lights with our eyes. In Ohio, you can see them sometimes through a camera. When we were in Iceland, we got to see them with our eyes, and it was amazing. Wow. I did take pictures because I did have my tripod set up right next to me with my camera or my phone on it. And when it did something new, I took a picture. I was like, man, picture. And we took the time to enjoy it. It was just nice. I also, doing the showers there, take a long shower if you're in Iceland. The water is amazing. The cold water, great to drink. The hot water is great to bathe in. Do not drink the hot water because it's a lot of sulfur. It's but I love the shower. It was probably the best shower I had in years. And if anybody that knows me knows that those are rare. We don't take a whole lot of showers when it comes to this dirty guy. But when we went around to do the stone lifting, I didn't care about the Husafell stone. I didn't care about it. I don't care about the Dripnik stones. I don't care about the Husafell stone. I didn't, because they are very famous. I cared about the ones that were lesser known.
You are like me. It's my same relationship I have with the Denny stones.
Yes.
I like the lesser known stones.
We'll touch on that because the Denny stones, I got the replicas here in Columbus. I mean, if you want to look up on my Instagram or Facebook or whatever, I'm in there in my Hey Dudes and, shorty shorts, just walking in there and lifting the Denny Stone replicas. They're not a thing on my bucket list because I've done the replicas so many times. I mean, my goal is to actually do the farmer style lift on them.
Yep.
But, I don't honestly care about doing that lift because it's so famous. I mean, I do want my name in the book because Jeffrey and Sean are both in there. There's only two known lifters from the state of Ohio that have ever lifted them. And Jeffrey, this is for you, number 192. Yeah, I didn't tell him I was doing this thing, so yeah. So when I tell him I was on there, I got at least mention that he was on there. But it's the whole thing is I don't care about the mainstream stuff. I want to do the things that it's lesser known. I mean, I want to do, it's a rock that's out there. Like they have the outdoor museum in Arber, and we have an outdoor museum here in Columbus. The Ohio Historical Society has a outdoor museum. They don't have rock, but the one in Iceland does. They have 8 stones. I was able to lift 5 of the 8. When we got there, Stephanie helped me unfreeze them from the ground. It was a little chilly that day, and we had to break them from the ice. I was able to lift 5 of the 8. I thought I was going to be able to press one of them. It was apparently, according to their website, it was about 252. I got a little bit of a press. I was cold, I was tired, and I'm old and fat, so I did not get it. But then again, I had a good time. She was the only person there to cheer me on, and it was a great time. We went there, and I think it was like $8 to get in. We walked around, we looked at stuff, and we went and lifted rocks. So if you're going to charge me $8 to lift rocks and I don't have to walk to them, I'm good with that. I mean, I'm not like you. I don't do the outdoor walking.
Yeah.
I don't hike. I don't, do any of that stuff. I don't do any of that. So if I can drive up to a rock and lift it, perfect for me. And that's what it was. As I walked in, we walked around and looked at the historical stuff and went over to the rocks. And I said, well, they're all frozen to the ground. So we had to break them up, move them around. And it was funny because I didn't bring any chalk. I didn't bring any, I didn't bring anything to lift with. No belt, no sleeves, no, I did end up finding some wrist wraps. I forgot one in my backpack to try to press with. But then we actually found some tape in her bag so I could wrap tape around my hand. So that way, because the cold was getting in my fingers.
Yeah.
So tape around my hands. And I was like, well, my hands aren't cold and I got wrist wraps on. I must be able to do these things. So, lifted, I think it was a 180 to shoulder, a 220 something to shoulder, did the 250 something to shoulder. And then, I tried to do, I lifted the 551. I think it's 551 and 660. I think were what the like you hold on to the, it's like a counterbalance weight. And I was able to just stand over top of it, basically sumo deadlift it. So the 551, I lifted that one, but the 660, I could not break that from the ice. It was so frozen. I couldn't even lean against it and pull to get it to break. You'll have that. But then again, I wasn't discouraged. I had a good time. I mean, we went out there, we lifted a couple rocks. It was no expectations, no nothing. We were there on vacation. We were having a fun time. We went there because it was after the zoo. We went to the zoo, amazing time. Then we went to go lift rocks. And then we went back to the hotel and we ate at the hotel restaurant. It was a fun day and I got some rock lifting. That's all I care about is having a fun time.
To say, so I was kind of like watching you as you were over there because I wanted to see like what you were doing with the stones and what you were going to post. And I I was really happy that you just kind of showed all the other stuff. Like it wasn't really central about stone lifting, and it kind of made me fall in like with you way more because it's just like you're a dude, you went over to have a vacation, you had some drinks, you had some great food, and then you lift some stones and you tried some stuff. Like it wasn't for flash. Like it wasn't to like, yeah, sure, it might have been a bucket list. I don't know. Was it a bucket list?
No, absolutely wasn't.
Yeah.
The only reason I tried the Husafell stone was because Sean gave me so much, we'll say, to keep it guff.
Right.
Sean and my brother gave me so much guff about. I told him, I was like, who knows? If the weather's bad, I'm not going to Husafell.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. I didn't care. I'm not in it for the fluff. I'm not in it for the Instagram likes. I'm not in it for anything other than, I lifted it. I know I did. And if somebody sees it, good for them. But I mean, I didn't go there for a stone lifting. I went there because, this is awkward. Magnus actually, kind of gave me a little bit of guff for not being there last year because I was messaging with him when he was doing the competition last year. And then he invited me and Stephanie out. And you should come out. You should come and hang out. I mean, it was awesome seeing him. That's why we went over there, was to go see our friends. It was to go see people we knew. We didn't go over there for me to lift rocks. We went over there to have the Northern Lights and have a good time, eat some food, go watch the strongman. I mean, I ran into some people over there. And if he ever watches this, Chris Beatham, you're still my favorite Scottish strongman.
Love Chris. I was talking to him the other day because he lifted the Inver stone overhead. So
yes, he did.
He had some good stories about that.
Yeah, and I told him that. I said to Stoltman's, take a back seat for now. They can, come rest it later on. Because I mean, he was such a nice guy. I mean, all the athletes. And like I said, if you go to a strongman competition or a stone lifting competition, you're standing right next to him. I mean, if you watch it on official strongman, it's kind of funny. My father-in-law was watching us on the official strongman. He was here in Ohio and he wanted to see his daughter in Iceland. And we were in a lot of the video for the official strongman stuff. And Stephanie was yelling and cheering and clapping. And then I could not look more bored. Because I looked, I was like, wow, I look so bored. I look so bored at all these events. I'm like, it's just me talking to somebody or me just standing there. I mean, it's like, wow, I was really excited to be there, but I look really bored on this video. It's like, man, I wish that I would have smiled or cheered or something. I was like, no, I mean, I did, but I mean, we're standing right next to the athletes. We're having a good time. That's what I love about the Stone community is you're standing right next to them. You're right there with them. You can say like, I'm going to throw him out there, Justin Laguerre. There you go.
Hmm.
I'm hoping. I mean, he's a U.S. guy. He's from Massachusetts. I chatted with him for a little bit, but we started off the conversation by him saying, "Hey, are you somebody I should know? Are you famous?" I said, "No, I know nobody. I just happen to know all these people. I was chatting with people I knew. Just because
Yeah.
I'm talking to these guys doesn't mean I'm anybody. I mean, these are just people that we come across. In strongman, you don't have to be famous to know somebody that is famous. I mean, you just happen to
Mm-mm.
know them, and you can
Yeah.
have a conversation with them. You can talk about, how's your kids, how's your wife, how's your dog, all that stuff, and you don't have to be anybody. You can just be somebody that also lifts rock. And
And I love that. Like, it is so true because Sandra Bradley is that for me, is that she's backed every single thing, every single crazy idea that I've had in this stone thing, like this podcast, my stone comp, my memes, my everything.
absolutely,
But she's like amazing, right? Like I'm in awe of her. And,
yes, me
but she
too.
doesn't treat you like that. Like, it's just like you just know her. She
Yeah.
just shows up in your inbox. Like, and I'm forever grateful for this community, for that, for the belonging, for the acceptance, for having hopes that I can actually come to your state and, try to lift your
Well, even
stone
if
off the
you,
ground.
and I'm going to throw this out there to you, even if you don't come down to compete, you've been around enough sports and have done enough events of your own. You come on down, and I would be more than happy to let you be one of our judges. Come
My
on
God,
down.
I would
Come
love
on
that.
down. I mean,
I would love
you can
that.
sit side by side with the famous Steve Slater. You can give down calls, for stone presses and stuff. Come on down. I
Okay,
mean,
because like
I know a guy that has the say in that stuff. It's me.
I would love that.
If you want to come on down, even though if you can't compete, just come on down and you can be part of it. You don't have to be a spectator. You can be part of the adventure, and that's something I'm always wanting more people just be part of the adventure with us. I mean, like even after the last show we had, I brought the Buckeye Stone with us, and I put it on the ground. So when we were compiling scores at the end of the night, there was a dozen people out there, people that competed, people that didn't compete, and they were out there trying to lift the Buckeye Stone, and they were cheering for each other. They were yelling,
Mhm.
and and the entire event. That was the part that made the news. The people after the competition was over,
Yep.
before we announced the winner,
Yep.
were the group of people lifting the stone, and they were, some of them were our shaggers, some were volunteers, some were people from the crowd. We know that were, they signed the waiver. Don't worry. So they came on the field, and they wanted, while we were compiling scores, they were challenging each other to lifting the Buckeye Stone, which was not part of the competition. We don't make the Buckeye Stone part of the competition, but it was something they could do afterwards. And they all took turns doing it, and it was amazing. So come on down and help
Mm.
me judge these fools
I would love
and
that.
tell them that they can do better next time. They will appreciate that if they ever watch this. If these guys ever watch this, they will appreciate do better next time.
And I'll do it in my
I
polite
tell them.
Canadian way.
Yeah, yes, super polite Canadian
Yeah.
way, no lift.
Yeah, exactly. No, that'd be amazing. I got to lift my first Slater log a few years back when I was heavy into strongman, and it was an amazing experience. So meeting him would be fabulous.
No,
We have
absolutely,
covered,
that'd be
yeah,
great.
we have
So
covered.
Steve's an
Oh,
amazing
sorry.
guy. Yeah, we're past your time mark.
No,
Like I said, once I start talking, I don't stop. I generally don't put myself out there to be the person in front of the camera because I don't need the notoriety. I don't want the notoriety. Not that the people that are on camera need the notoriety. I feel that just being there to support everybody uh, is what I do. I
yeah,
want them to come out. I want them to have fun. I want them to be better than they thought they were. And it's fun for me to watch you do better than you thought you could.
Mhm.
And and me and Stephanie, we're the same. I mean, it's like if you come to the house and you want to lift a rock, I've got them from, well, I'm not going to count the throwing stone, but from 50 pounds to 510. I've got them in the front yard in multitudes. If you want to do something, if you want to lift a rock, if you want to learn to press a stone, if you want to just first time ever do a lift, come on over. I'll invite you in. You can have whatever you want. I mean, I'm offering drinks, popsicle. Popsicles are famous in my. The
Yeah.
children in the neighborhood love coming over, eating popsicles, and watching us lift rock. It's just about getting people together and lifting the rocks and having fun doing it. It doesn't matter the weight of the stone. It's just how many can you do? Was it? I think Steve says it's not the weight of the stone lifted, but or not. It's not the weight of the stone lifter, but the weight of the stone lifted.
Yeah.
And then Jeffrey says it's not leave no stone unlifted. So if you come across a rock, lift it up. Then you've
Yes.
done it. You may be the first person to ever do that stone. See one on the side of the road, pick it up. You might be the first person to ever do it. And that's
Yeah,
where
like
we're at.
that is where we're at. And we have covered so many things. Is there anything that we didn't cover that we should cover?
Well, let me look through my notes because I know we went on a tangent of sorts.
I
Um,
love it.
Well, one
Yeah.
thing I can say is,
Yeah.
one thing I do want to touch on, and this is the Highland Games people. If you guys ever watch this, or the stone lifting people, um, my mom, she died a couple years ago. My mom was an avid supporter of everything we did. My dad, amazing fellow, love my dad, but my mom was pushing all these girls to catch up to these guys. And she cheers so much for these girls to say, you are good. Get out there and do it. Because for multiple years, she was a multiple cancer survivor, and then cancer ended up getting her. But for
Mhm.
more than I would say 6 or 7 years, we dealt with her sickness, and everybody that knows my mom knows what she went through, and she appreciated all of you. And she was always the number one in the upstairs window, cheering for you, yelling at you that you can do it. And that's one thing is you can. Everybody can
Mhm.
do it. Who can do it? And not the Adam Sandler movies, you can do it type thing. She was actually
No.
genuine. With
Yeah.
you can do it because she cheered for you. She made trophies for you. She made awards for you. She actually decorated for you. She provided food for you. She was the best thing that happened to strength sports that I was involved in by providing a place and a person that said, this is what you can do. And you can do better than that the next time. Because she wasn't that nice. You can do better next time. She always said that. But, she believed in you. And so do I. So
And it was
that's where we're
so
at.
it's that inclusivity part. It's that, because we haven't been part of the Highland Games and we haven't been part of stone lifting for very long, to be frank.
Yes.
And I think it's pioneers like your mom and like you that allow us to not allow us per se, but have extended the table to allow us to come and sit and to partake and to do. Now, granted, some of the people that are at your stone lifting table that are women are freaking incredible and way, way out of my
Absolutely. I'm
like,
impressed by everybody you've had at the table. I
like
was curious on why you called me. I mean, I saw all the people you had at the table, and I'm like, why me? Said I'm nobody.
so on that note, I think that's a amazing way to end this session on or this discussion with the inclusivity bit. But give us 3 pieces of advice.
Well, I
Uh,
actually, luckily for you, I wrote them down because I was running these by Stephanie, and she's like, God, you need to get your shit together. Sorry,
that's fine.
together. And I said, I wrote it down, and it sounds better when I say it, but I wrote it down to keep me on track. I always have advice for people when they come over and they're like, what do you want to do? come in here and we can work on it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're, the first one is, if you're going to fail much more than you succeed. Some days stones are unliftable. Some days weights are unliftable. Some days things are just not obtainable. Just have fun with it. Next time, try it again, because every time you do it, it's different. Just try it again. Don't give up. Number 2, it's okay. It's okay to not get a lift. It's okay. You'll get it next time. Don't be too hard on yourself. Don't overthink everything. If you want to make the lift and you don't get it today, come back tomorrow. It'll be okay. It's okay. Do not stress out about it. Do not freak out about it. Do not get so self-contained and just I didn't get it, so therefore I failed. No, do it next time. You know you have it. Just do it next time. And number 3, my favorite one. Find somebody to live with. Just a person, a group, anybody. Even if it's just somebody that you can just, if you did a lift and you recorded it, send it to that person. Like there's a lot of videos on my phone I've sent to my brother, or I've sent to, Stephanie, my wife, just showing them what I did. A good job. That's all you need is a good job. Jeffrey and I have a tug of war type deal. So it's like, well, you could have done better. Yeah, but it's a sibling thing. But it's good job. You could have done better. But it's a good job from somebody. That's all you need, is somebody to watch you, somebody to say good job, somebody to, if it's your significant other, if it's your friend, if it's, anybody, if it's just find me, send me a video. I will tell you good job. Even if it wasn't a good job, I will tell you good job. Because it's something new to you. It's something you just need somebody to tell you did a good job. It boosts your morale. It boosts your spirit. It makes you better. And the person telling you good job is better for that, because that's the way it is if you lift a rock for the first time, it's the first rock you've lifted, or the first time you lifted that rock. Good job.
Yep.
That's
Yeah,
what
and
we got.
that's all. That's really that's all we need. We don't need. I mean, some of us do it for competition, and fine, that's great. But like, honestly, it's your own best. It's your own accomplishments. And again,
It-
that pat on the back at the end of the day and saying thanks for coming out. You did a great job.
yeah, that's what it is what can you do for you? It's like I cheer for you when I see you post stuff about a stone you lifted, even if you failed at it. Like I posted a video not too long ago of me lifting a stone and my feet slipped. I fell in the mud. And I was like, well, there you go. You guys are getting to see that. You
Yeah.
you fail at lifts. It's okay. You laugh about it. You try it again.
Mhm.
I posted a video not too long ago about I was trying to lift one of the stones and put it on my shoulder, and the kids came out running out, and they're like, "Oh, Mr. Josh, Mr. Josh." And I stood there kind of holding the stone, talking to them. And I was like, well, I guess I'm done. I put the stone down. It doesn't matter. As long as you're lifting it, you got somebody watching you. These kids out here are hilarious to me. I'm Mr. Josh to them, and sometimes I have to lift the rocks just to show them I can do it. They
And
are actually the
it's
worst critics. They're the worst critic.
but the thing is though that you are also showing them, kind of what's possible as well, right? So
Oh,
that is
absolutely.
yeah.
Most of the kids, well, I made a mistake. Okay, we should probably start on this. And if you
So
ever call me back, because we're well past the time, but if you ever call me back,
mhm.
I taught the kids in the neighborhood, the girls, how to do handspring. That's why I am their favorite person. It's because I taught the girls that are learning cartwheels how to do handsprings.
Please do not teach me that when I come down. I'm too
No,
old
I'm
for that.
and
I'm
well,
too old for that.
their dads were amazingly surprised that a 300 plus pound man could do a handspring.
Oh my god.
And I taught their kids how to do it because they're on the gymnastics and cartwheels and cheerleading,
Oh
and I'm
my
working
gosh.
with them. And so I became their favorite person in the neighborhood, and they will incessantly. Like, there's pictures we have of them just standing on the stones in the front yard waiting for me to come out. It's like Children of the Corn, but in a positive way.
Yeah.
They're like, Mr. Josh, when are you coming out? You know, and then I have to go out and lift rocks in front of them, help them with cartwheels and handsprings. You know, it's amazing. You know, they're great kids.
Well,
But
we've covered all of the things today, and I am so
absolutely.
grateful that we had finally had the chance to speak in person. And
And
I
I'm sorry I
know
talked so much over top of you.
no, no, it was amazing. I loved it. And I think our listeners have a lot to take away from this. And I think we went down so many different rabbit holes that like I love the fact that we talked about kind of decorum and etiquette in stone lifting. We talked about Highland Games. We talked about all of the things. And I'm just so appreciative for you taking the time today to speak with us. And I look forward to coming down and seeing you in the summer. And I hope we have some more people lifting your stones this summer as well.
Absolutely. I really do hope that we get some more people. And we do have some good stones down here. And if you guys want to reach out to me, I'm easy to get a hold of. I don't do much other than work and sit at home. And since me and the wife are super old, we started putting puzzles together. We put puzzles together and wait for people to call us. So
So,
let us know. Let us know when you want to lift stones and give me a holler. And I will come out. I'll drag her along. She'll be the entertainment. Too bad you guys haven't met her yet. But in the future, maybe she will do one of these, telling you all the negative things about this guy.
well, I'm definitely
How
going to put a picture of her on the YouTube version if she
Oh,
lets us.
she is amazing.
Yeah.
You would love her. She
Yeah.
is so strong and independent. She is independent of me.
I
How's
love
that?
I
Uh,
love that.
is
That is
she
a
is
woman I need to talk to
I mean,
for sure.
we didn't even get into the cold plunge and the sauna stuff that she does. I mean, so
Well, maybe
she
she needs her
oh,
own session on this.
I tell you what, I don't know if I can afford that. She might put me over the top because we're actually tonight. I mean, it's only 5:20. I know you have something at 6. But, we're we're gonna go out and do sauna because I built her an entire sauna, cold plunge sauna backyard oasis thing.
Wow.
So, we have all the things in the backyard, and we didn't even touch on that. So,
No. Well, when I come down, schedule that in for
I'm
me as
I'm on
well.
I'm on down. We
Okay.
will put you in the cold plunge and do sauna, you know.
Well, Josh, on that note, I'm going to say goodbye to you, and we will end this episode with see you in Ohio in the summer.
Absolutely, and thank you for this opportunity. It was
No,
great.
thank you. Take care.
Hopefully,
Well,
hopefully a lot of people see this.
I hope so
At
too.
least you. Stay at least
Thank you.